Chapter 254, The Oni, the Spider. I teleport to the other dimension Oni-kun is in. Oni-kun is still unconscious. Well, after being pummeled to that extent, he wouldn't be able to wake up immediately. I guess there's no other way, so I apply some recovery on him. If he recovers too much, then it's possible that Wrath will reactivate, so all in moderation. While looking at his condition after applying the recovery, before long Oni-kun starts groaning and then opened his eyes. Wakaba-san? Oni-kun murmurs in a quiet voice. Yes, here's everyone's idol, Wakaba Hiro! So annoying. Why do I have to substitute for D, eh? I'm called Shiro here. I see. I'm Wrath. Would you mind addressing me with that? Rasu, Wrath, huh? Is that... I don't know the circumstances for it, but it seems Oni-kun also dislikes being addressed with his previous name. That works for me too. With neither of us prying into the other, there's now no motivation to discuss our names any further. Then, Shiro-san, where is this? Well, you would feel uneasy, yeah. The other dimension that we're currently in is pretty much in its default settings. In other words, it's nothing but a large space. There's nothing, not even light, a totally black space. However, it does contain air and such that is the minimum necessary to support life. Is there ground? Whatever. Maybe there's no gravity. If not for that, you'd be dying of suffocation or dying from the abnormal pressure from the vacuum state. Beyond that, the setting that has been changed so that it's not just dark and is possible to see. From Oni-kun's point of view, in this pure black space with nothing else, all that's visible is my own figure in isolation. Well, he would want to know where this was. Another dimension that I created. Another dimension. I thought so. Oh, that's unexpected. Oni-kun murmured, I thought so. Did you realize that this wasn't a normal space, I wonder? I have space magic as well, after all. I had realized that this wasn't a normal space. Though I'm sure it didn't show up on my face, Oni-kun read between the lines on my doubt and added this to his explanation. That's right. It was when he was still like that pseudo-goblin. He was a space magic then. I'd forgotten that I'd also interfered and peered inside during the match. Well, it never seemed like it would develop at a level where it could threaten me, so I hadn't paid much attention to it. As this level in space magic rises, it becomes possible for it to damage even me. It's true that I've specialized in space magic, but it's also because when space magic evolves to the level of dimension magic, it does have the track record of delivering an attack on that D. Oh yeah. It's quite an underhanded trick, I'm sure, but going by that previous example, then I can't say that nobody would ever be able to reproduce it. That's why it's worth keeping a lookout on space magic users, but with Oni-kun's current level, I judged that it wouldn't be able to affect me. There's many things that I'd like to ask, but is it possible that it's not just us, but the entire class who have been reborn into this world? You're asking that? Well, I guess so. When someone you know from your previous world appears before you, you would think that, I guess. Particularly because in Oni-kun's case, due to him running wild with wrath, he wasn't in any condition to be able to communicate with others anyway. There wasn't any way to inform him about the situation of the reincarnators. Everyone is here. Everyone. That sure is unexpected. Though Oni-kun says it's unexpected, he doesn't really look to be that shocked. With the example of me being before him, it certainly establishes that there's some kind of pattern. Oni-kun, in his previous life as Sasajima-kun, had the image of being quite quick-thinking, I recall. Something like he could read the mood on the spot and choose his words appropriately. Though rather than it being he was wordly wise, it more felt like he was desperately trying to prevent the peace from being disturbed. Well, being able to speak after reading the mood, that in its own way indicates that he's quick-witted. Talking about his mind here, I don't necessarily mean that in the sense that he's good or bad at studying. There's plenty of people who are fools even though they're good at studying, and conversely there's also capable people who are bad at studying. In Sasajima-kun's case, he was reasonably good at studying, so in that sense he's fairly smart. Then Yamada Shunsuke and Oshima Kanata, do you know if those two are well? When Oni-kun asks the question, do I know, he seems confident that it will give him an answer. Well, at that point, when I said that everyone in the class is here, it can be predicted that I have knowledge on the reincarnators. I don't really have a reason to hide it anyway, so I might as well tell him this much. Anyhow, it's not like Oni-kun would be able to find out that I'm not limited to just having knowledge either. They're both well. One of them is at a sex change, though, but she's well enough, so I'm not lying. I see. That's a relief. With just that, Oni-kun's face relaxes in what seems like his true feelings. I understand this much. Oni-kun is extremely cautious of me. Well, I guess so, huh? Suddenly pummeled by some unknown guy in black, then when he wakes up, someone he knows from his previous life is there, in another dimension, too. I'm sure it'd be impossible not to be cautious instead, huh? Possibly Oni-kun is a more simple-minded type. If that's the case, then he should have vented his questions at me whilst he was unable to think normally. My mind went all over the place for a minute there, but after thinking all sorts of things, I get the feeling that maybe I hit the bullseye. Well, for me, that would be preferable, I guess. I'd also be grateful if fewer words are needed, but saying that still, I can't talk so much all in one go. When I was able to talk with the Demon King and Kuro earlier, half of that was because the Demon King was one of them, and the other half was because I had already decided my words in advance and practiced my lines, you see. So, if I think I'll be able to fluently reply in a question and answer session when I've not determined what to already say, then you're greatly mistaken. That being the case, Oni-kun, sorry, but please be prepared for this to take quite a long time. Don't worry, while we're in this space, not that much time will pass outside, so go ahead and use up as much time as you want. Yeah, Wrath. Gotcha. Okay. Thanks, Corn.